Let me tell you about this thing in front of you. It's a dock with some oyster cages. There are 3 oyster cages here, and they live in the water, tied off to the dock. And they're sort of like pets, I guess. They were given to me by the Chesapeake Bay Foundation through a program called Oyster gardening, or oyster gardening is actually a common practice throughout probably the East Coast, but definitely throughout the Chesapeake Bay region. And these oysters live off the dock, and you just kind of clean them off and help them grow. And I got them a small spat, which is very tiny, almost microscopic. And then they grow into these muddy looking oysters, and their shells grow. And one of the things I got to do every couple of weeks or regularly is sort of spray them down, because they get mud all over them. There's the area that we're in doesn't have like a lot of water flow, but the tide comes in every 6 hours and goes out every 6 hours, and so they're filtering the water. They get kind of muddy, but they've grown significantly even in the past several months that I've had them. Apparently their life cycle takes about a year for them to be full grown, but they've already, exponentially increased in size. And have grown more shells in here. I actually harvested a bunch of shells myself and just put some extra shells in each one of the cages, just to help them grow along and spread out. And they filter the water, and a whole bunch of marine life will be attracted to the cages and the oysters. There's all kinds of little fish and all kinds of, other strata of marine life, shrimpy looking things and insect looking things. Sorry, my biology is not great. I'm not explaining this in a very clear way, but there's lots of life that is attracted to them. There's crabs, blue shell crabs, that really want to eat them, and I'm always shaking them off the cage. And actually, a funny thing is, very often I'll find a mating pair of blue crabs just sitting on top here when I pull them up. Yeah. It's a place that the crabs like to hang out. In a moment, I'll show you how I drop. After I rinse them off, I'll sort of drop them in the water. And one of the things, I'm sure other people do, no one really mentioned this, but I'll just sort of shake the cage I'm sure this is what common practice for oyster. You just shake the cage and sort of have water flow through it. And you can kind of see the debris, water move around in there, in and out of the cage. This is a sort of therapeutic activity. I don't know. It's very. I don't know. It's one of the. I feel like I'm participating in the life cycle of the world in a healthy way, and I get some sort of psychological benefit from it, and a biological benefit, because hopefully this brings more crabs. I like to eat crabs, and I'll harvest them.
Where do we catch the other crabs?
I'll try to catch them. So this hopefully it'll bring some more crabs to my dock. Okay, now I am by no means an expert at oysters. This is sort of a hobby, if you will. And these oysters are apparently the less tasty kind. Maybe I was told that there are 2 types of oysters, and they were defined as triploid and haploid, or biploid, or biploid. I can't even remember. Something genealogical or Don't listen to, I'm an idiot. Don't listen to me. I'm just showing you these oysters. You can see some growing over there. Yeah, and I don't really eat oysters, but I grow them. I do like clams and scallops and mussels. I really like mussels, and I really like shrimp and crabs and fish. But apparently the more commercial triploid version of oysters is the one that you would get at a restaurant. And I'm not even sure if these are the ones that you would get at a restaurant or the naturally occurring ones. I'm not sure. But these are apparently the healthiest for the Chesapeake Bay, or maybe indigenous to the region. This is kind of a fun thing I do. Hopefully I don't drop my phone here. You just kind of drop them in, and after you've washed them off, you can sort of see even more. You can see even more debris sort of come off. So I'll just tie them up to my dock here. I usually drop them about that far down. And sometimes when I pull them up, there'll be a crab laying on there, or two crabs mating. That's been something that's happening a lot recently. It's a good spot for the business. It's a very romantic spot, if you will. Only coincidentally, I have some of these davits here that could be used to raise a boat, for example, out of the water, lift a boat by cranking this crank here and lowering those hooks. But if I had a whole bunch more oyster cages, I could lift them out of the water and pull them onto my dock. I think I could probably do it on a more aggressive level. But for now, I've got just the 3 couple little cages. I'm not trying to create another job for myself that doesn't pay any money. I got plenty of those. I'll tie them off and just let them hang there. Come back in another week or two. Pull them out of the water. Sometimes I just like every couple of days pick them out of the water and shake them off. I think it helps a little bit. I'll give it more flow. Oysters.